So we did the show a month later, and it was a hit. It was crazy. People had never seen people who were blind up on stage, with those who were non-disabled, with those who had cerebral palsy. It was like, what? And somebody had come over to the table after the show where we were eating, because at that time we worked for food. And they said, can you go to Dallas? I said, oh no, ma'am, I'm mourning. I just lost my son. The rest of the actors went, we'll go. She'll stay here. Because we believe in the mission and we believe in Dustin's words. My name is Deborah Nowinski. I'm the founder of Dionysus Theatre, the Inclusion Theatre in Houston. And my passion is to have people with disabilities up on stage where they can create, connect, and let their voices be heard. I founded Dionysus in memory of my son Dustin, who died of bone cancer at the age of 15 in 1997. And right before he died, I was yelling at some doctors. Can you tell I have red hair? And he said, Mom, don't get so angry at people. Maybe their souls haven't evolved yet. You're here to educate to the soul. Now, this is a 15-year-old telling me that people's souls haven't been educated. And he kind of charged me with that right before he died as, tag, you're it. You're here to educate to the soul. You know, for parents who've lost children, they're going to understand this next sentence. You sit in hell. There's really no other place. I had been in the theater all my life here in Houston. I was a teacher, director, playwright. I've always worked with children with disabilities or non-disabled in the theater. To me, it was no big deal. And so when Dustin died, I thought, how can I go back to the real theater? It's not going to make sense to me. I've lost a child who told me to change lives, to educate to the soul. What am I going to do? And I can tell Dustin was working heaven, because a month after he died, somebody had called and said, Deb, do you have a theater troupe? I know you work with people with disabilities in the arts. We're having a big convention come in next year. This was in December. And they said, we have a big convention coming in next year. We want your theater to perform. Well, I was so out of it. I just lost a child. But in my mind, I was like, yeah, I have a theater and it's wonderful. And yeah, we'll perform. And I kind of hung up. And a couple of weeks later, I was like, I wonder what year they were talking about, because next month is January. And it was like 4 weeks from the time I hung up. So I got to get together, friends of Dustin who were non-disabled, and those with disabilities that I worked with at another organization. And we got together and we wrote our first show. And it was like a 45-minute show. And I thought, okay, we'll do this and I'll be done. And then I'm going to go back to mourn, right? So we did the show a month later, and it was a hit. It was crazy. People had never seen people who were blind up on stage, with those who were non-disabled, with those who had cerebral palsy. It was like, what? And somebody had come over to the table after the show where we were eating, because at that time we worked for food. And they said, can you go to Dallas? I said, oh no, ma'am, I'm mourning. I just lost my son. The rest of the actors went, we'll go. She'll stay here. Because we believe in the mission and we believe in Dustin's words. And that's how we started. And I know he was working heaven, because really a month out, well, that was kind of crazy, you know? So we started, and we started writing songs, and we started doing shows, and we allowed the disabled to have a voice, and we just started to grow. And I started to realize, wait a minute, I'm teaching them theater, and they're teaching me about life. So it was symbiotic. For both sides, we were both transforming each other, and we were both learning from each other. And the non-disabled who came in were like, I thought it was about me. I didn't know. I've never met anybody with a disability. I've never met anybody who really is beyond the label that people give them. So it became educational on top of entertainment. And then Glenn Sharp, the musical director, came in and started writing amazing songs, and he's kind of like the Papa Glenn. And we became a family. And we started to have classes, and then we started to have a season. And we went to the Kennedy Center in 2004 to perform for the ADA. So all this magical thing started happening, because we really believe that theater's giving. And theater's magic, and theater's transformational. And if you allow people with disabilities to take the stage and to perform the roles that they deserve to perform, something happens. You know, we did Wait Until Dark, which is about a woman who's blind. I know Audrey Hepburn played it on TV, and oh, she was great, blah, blah, blah. But we actually had an actress, Markia, who was blind, who took the role, rightfully so, and it blew everybody away. They're like, we didn't know, you know? So it's that magic that happens when you bring truth and honesty, when you allow people to have voices, when you allow the disabled to say, I am more than my disability. I'm an actor, I'm a singer, I'm a dancer, I'm a writer. I can do whatever I want to if you give them that space, you know? And that's who we are. That is really the cornerstone of who we are in Dionysus. Allowing people's souls to grow, allowing people to be educated, both in the audience and on stage, and to be entertained and bring honesty, truth and honesty. And I really think after 18 years, I just go, wow. This has been so amazing. It's been such an amazing journey. I've learned so much. I've learned about patience, and I've learned about grace, and I've learned about humor, and most importantly, I've learned about love because of them, because of people with disabilities. And I just can't see how we're the only ones in Texas that are truly inclusion and keep going and keep giving. Everybody should be doing it, you know. It's magic. When I used to teach theater at professional theaters here in town, I would always end up with the child with a disability. You know, the artistic director would come up and go, oh, I don't know what to do with this kid. Oh, I'm going to put him in your class. And I'm fine. And I just treated him like everybody else. So it wasn't something I thought about, you know, in the beginning. And then I guess having Dustin, having cancer, and becoming his advocate, and becoming to know the community and understanding what the issues are and working in the community, that's how I started to find out what they needed, what was missing, what kind of niche was needed for the theater for them. And so it just kind of snowballed. Yeah. And so how we get our actors with disabilities is word of mouth through our classes. One tells another, tells another, tells another. They know it's their theater. They know that this theater is theirs. My actors with disabilities have the greatest saying. They go, this is our stage, and we take no prisoners. This is ours. We will allow the non-disabled to come on. Sure, come on. But you better toe the line. You know, leave your ego at the door. And it's so great. It's such a flip-flop. We did a show a couple years ago, all in ASL for the deaf community, and that was such a mind blow. I was one of the few hearing people, and I know a little bit of sign language, and it was such a privilege to go into that language, into that culture, into that beauty. I loved it. I can't believe people aren't doing it more. To me, it's like so natural to Glenn and I. It's like, it's so natural to us to have, I don't know how to direct anymore unless it is inclusive, unless it is diverse, unless it's that tapestry, unless it's that truth that's on the stage. For people who are visually impaired, we count their steps so they can have an independent experience on stage. That's what we go for. They want the independence. They want that independence. So how do we make it independent for them? So we count their steps. For people with autism, I know not to yell, not to use too loud of a voice because they're audio sensitive. So there's different groups that have taught me, this is what I need, this is how I need you to communicate. And so we try to do it, but I don't try to change it up too much. Do you know what I'm saying? I want everybody to feel the same. I want everybody to feel that, you know, it might be a little bit of change here and there that we need to give them that independence. But all in all, I like to walk in and go, okay, everybody up on stage. Okay. And my actors with disabilities, I'm proud to say, are the first off their scripts. Why? Because it's their voice. This is theirs. This is ownership. Ownership. The people who are on our board are great because they're volunteering and they care. They love the mission. It's always about the money. You know, if you talk to any nonprofit theater, what's the problems? Money. We never have enough. You know, we don't feel we're known enough. We don't feel we're taken seriously enough. We don't feel that people come to enough of our shows. It's the same thing. For Dionysus, There really was an uphill battle in the beginning because people really didn't understand what we were about. They thought maybe we were drama therapy, and they didn't know. So they would come in here, or they'd come into our shows, and they'd be like, I don't know what to expect. And then they would see the people dancing and singing and memorizing, or drama or Shakespeare, whatever we were doing, and they were blown away. It's like my actors say, they expect a certain expectation, but we go above it. We go above that. We go the mile and a half because we're going to show them what they come in with. We have to turn that mind around, And so, yeah, it's always, every theater, I think, has the same problems with money but we have an extra layer where we have to show people that we're really worthy. Most of the people who do grant us say, Deb, you wrote the best love letter ever. So we're granting you money because we love your mission and we love the love letter. Can you sometimes stat it for us? And I'm like, what? Like stat? Like hurry up? Like, yeah, give me money. They go, no, stats, like 92%, 82%. I go, yeah, okay. So I'm really bad at that, but I keep going because we need money, And I get really mad when we don't make it. And I go, have you stopped hating the disabled yet? Why haven't you given us money? But not everybody can give. So it's a process. It's a learning process. And you have to kind of flip over to the left brain and turn all my people into percentages, which is really hard for me to do. So I end up just writing love letters. And I usually do. They go, man, that was the best love letter I ever read. That was amazing. We're going to give you money. My actors have gone on to do amazing things. They've gone on to Hollywood. We have one who's in American Horror Story, Jamie Brewer. We have another one who's in a couple movies. We have some who are Miss Wheelchair Texas queens. And we have social workers, and we have people who have gone overseas to work with third world countries. The non-disabled have also dropped out of theater, some of them, and gone on to medical. So everybody's really been affected on some level in Dionysus where it's touched their hearts. And they said, this is what I want to continue to do after I leave the theater. But a lot of our actors with disabilities stay with us for over 10 years because this is their home. We're everything. We're a family. Don't give up. Have passion. Believe in your actors. Believe in your mission. Believe that they can set the standard as high to the sky as you can because they're already there. Give them that opportunity. Don't be afraid. Put your fears aside. Allow them to have a voice like somebody gave you a chance. And just do it. Just do it. Don't ever give up. Don't. Because if you give up, where are they going to go? What are they going to do? And that's not fair. That's cheating the playwright who wrote the play for somebody with a disability or whatever. And that's cheating the person who really wants to connect, who really has something to say. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. Your dreams are not for sale. And that's what I tell my actors all the time, on both sides. Your dreams are not for sale. Sometimes when I go through, how can I do this? I've had my ups and downs. And then I go, where are they going to go? Where am I going to go? This is life. This is creative. This is my passion.